struggled with setting boundaries as a leader? This is a challenge for many women in leadership when they are trying to navigate through the next phase of their journey. So, in this video, I want to provide you with two very short strategies that can help you to start setting boundaries as a leader. Now, in this video specifically, you may see me doing a bit more on my screen than normal in terms of the live. I'm testing a couple things out and seeing how the audience engages with this video. So I want to say that up front so that you're not, if you're new to me and it's the first time you and I have interacted with each other there, or if you watch my video, please know I'm normally not just like tapping on my screen normally. I'm just testing a couple things out just to see how I can help to engage with the audience. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that there are many ways that you can start to keep your boundaries. And in this video specifically, I want to talk to you about just really the fundamentals. If boundaries is a topic that you have struggled with at any point in your career as a leader, then you absolutely want to master these two strategies first, because these two strategies will actually help you to be able to start setting your boundaries. So you'll see me moving around here a little bit, and I'm just testing something out to see. Okay, so the first thing about it as it relates to setting boundaries is that oftentimes people, oh, and I have a green screen, sorry about that. So people sometimes tend to struggle with boundaries a bit. And I'm going to try out the green screen. So let me know in the comments below. As I mentioned, I've been testing things out, and this video specifically is more of a test. But let me know, what do you think about this green screen? Do you like it or do you not like it? I'm not sure. This is my first time actually trying the green screen out, but let me know in the comments below if you like it or not. I don't know. Let me know. So I'm testing out a few things on here to see what they do. Okay, sorry. I know this is probably a bit of a little off video. So forgive me for those of you who have been watching from the beginning. I did want to test something out really quickly because I was asked to check something out really fast. So I believe I've checked everything out. Okay, fantastic. Awesome. Alrighty, very good. So now we have some people joining, and I want to say PRPL Hazel. Hello, welcome. Glad you're doing well today. If you are interested in learning how to set boundaries, how to do this, how can you do this as a leader, then this is a great place for you to be. I apologize for those of you who are just joining. I've been playing on my live video console here, trying out different screens and etc. So I just want to see if there's a feature that I need to take a look at. But anyways, let me share with you what you can do, but let me say hello to everybody. First, let me know where you're joining from in this big, beautiful world today. We got Jude Bede. Hello, Jude. Hello, Jude. Hope you're doing well today. Jude said, I will donate $100. Well, thank you, Jude. My channel is not actually eligible for that just yet, but if you're looking to learn how to set boundaries, 2 skills, then definitely stay here and subscribe to your channel if you want to learn more. Chris Watts 313, welcome. Hope you are doing well. Chris Watts, no. Chris Watts asked me, was I on Basketball Wives? No, I was not on Basketball Wives. But I appreciate you asking me that, though. Thank you so much. All right, so the cool guy, hello, welcome. Cool guy says, I love my beautiful black queens. Well, thank you, cool guy. I appreciate that. And let me know if y'all have any questions. Let me know if you all have any questions as it relates to setting boundaries or where you're joining from in the world today. Now, I want to start by saying that leaders struggle with boundaries. Why? Because oftentimes we're the people that individuals are looking at and talking to and etc. So what happens oftentimes is that we are always at the front and center of everything as leaders. And so we feel like our boundaries get a bit blurred because we're not exactly sure, well, how can I still be a leader, still be approachable, still be present, but I still have to have my boundaries too. So before I go into that, let me see what's in the chat. So Jude B said, I wish I could. Oh, well, thank you, Jude. I appreciate that. Jude B said, what state do you live in? Yes, I'm actually in the Sunshine State of Florida. Let me know where you all are joining from today. So we talked about why leaders struggle with boundaries. Let me give you 2 strategies. So the first strategy that will help you to start learning how to set up your boundaries is you first need to define your boundary. What is your boundary? This is what I see a lot of leaders struggle with constantly, is how to set up their actual boundaries. So this is what you need to do. This is the very, very first level. You have to know what your boundaries are first. Now, before I go into how you can start developing your boundaries, let's see what's going on in the chat. So Jude B is in Texas. Very hot outside. Yes, Texas is very hot. I've spent some time in Houston and I have visited San Antonio. So Texas is hot. Texas is a different type of heat. Texas is hot. Texas is, and I know this is off topic, but Texas is the only place where I've been driving in a car. And this is completely not related to boundaries, but just because Jude B said Jude B is from Texas and it's very hot, let me share with you all how hot it is in Texas before I go into how you can start developing your boundaries as a leader. It was so hot in Texas, in Houston specifically, Jude B. It was so hot because my vehicle at the time literally came on the console and said, temperature is too hot, must shut down. And this was for the entertainment system. The entertainment system told me it had to stop. So I had no idea it could get so hot that my car would tell me it's so hot it can't play anything. This literally happens in the state of Texas. If you all do not believe me, this happens. This is hot. And Jude B let me know. But that is, I've lived in North Carolina. I have lived in Washington, D.C. I have lived in downstate New York in the Bronx. I have lived in Rochester, New York. I've lived in Sacramento, California. I've lived in Houston, Texas. I've lived in Pensacola, Florida. And I've lived in here in South Florida right now in the Fort Lauderdale area. And I've never seen a car say it's so hot I can't function. Only in the great state of Texas. I'm telling you, it's hot over there. So let me see what else, Jude, do you have to say about Texas? Because yes, it is very hot. It is extremely hot. Okay, so Chris Watts is from West Virginia. Okay, welcome, West Virginian. All right, awesome. We have Lele Fenor. Hello. Let me know where you all are joining from. Lele asks, how are you? I'm doing fine. I'm glad to be talking to you all. This is actually my second live this evening. I just went live a minute ago, but there's a couple features I need to test on my vertical live streaming. So I had to test a couple things out. So I came back to talk to you all about boundaries. And I'm going to go into that in just a few moments, but I want to say hello to those of you who are here. And if you like this content, I talk about leadership communication and being really to be a person that communicates at a higher level than your peers as a leader. So you stand out from everybody else. So if you want to be that person that stands out as a leader, whether you're a man in leadership, a woman in leadership, I specifically work with women in leadership in terms of my client base, but on YouTube, I'm here to support everybody, then you absolutely want to sign up and subscribe to the channel and just learn as much as you can. I do a lot of information live. There's a lot of great information if you're trying to develop your executive presence or trying to showcase how to handle yourself under pressure. How do you communicate under pressure? How do you manage your emotions under pressure? How do you develop a executive presence in those very high stakes situations? This is where you want to be. All right. So Jude says, thank you. And Raven Maynard. Hello, Raven. Welcome. Glad you're here today. Let me know where you're joining from today. All right. Jude B said 98 degrees and I had to run 4 miles at school. Ooh, that's hot, Jude. That's really hot. That's very, very hot. But I appreciate you sharing that. So Raven, I did give you a shout out. Hello, Raven. And yes, Raven, I gave you a shout out. Okay, so Raven is from Inanda? I'm not sure where that is. So let me know, Raven, where you're from. Let's see if there's anything else in the chat here. Okay, Indiana. Okay, all right. I think it's Indiana, Raven. I think you're saying Indiana. Welcome. Glad you're here today. All right, and Jude, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you. And if you have any questions as it relates to really elevating yourself as a leader, then let me know in the comments below. I'm here to support you. All right, so we talked about why leaders struggle with boundaries, because they're at the forefront. They're in the visible view of everyone, and they still want to be very, very visible, but still accessible, but they have to set boundaries too. So the first strategy, and I'm going to share with you just two today. First is you have to know what are your boundaries. Many times people go to either workplace settings, they go to schools, they go in their businesses, and they just go and they work, and then they come home and they find out they're frustrated and they're tired and they don't want to do anything anymore because they just feel overworked, or people are just taking advantage of them. Now, I want to know from you in the chat, have you ever felt like you've been taken advantage of in this particular setting? Have you felt like your boundaries have been just completely bypassed? Have you? Let me know in the comments below, because this has happened to me before. I have been burnt out before. I have no problem admitting that. And so I know what it feels like. And one of the things that I struggled with and I help my clients to do is to determine, what are your boundaries? What are the things that are non-negotiable for you? So let me share you an example, and then I'm going to go to the chat, see what conversations we're having. For me personally, I have kids and I have to pick my kids up. There's a certain time that I have to leave to take care of my kids for me to be able to be live here with you. So those things are non-negotiables. I have to leave at a certain time. Often what happens as leaders is we just don't know what our boundaries are. And so we just live life, keep working, head down, keep working, until the point where we just burn out because we haven't set our own boundaries also. Now, I want to make sure that you all understand how important this is. You have to take some quiet time to determine what specifically are those non-negotiables for you. It could be what time you leave work. It could be what time you get to work. It could be what time you finish your project. It might be something else, but take a few moments to figure out, what are those boundaries? What's really important to you? It may be conversations people have at work, and you may say, I don't want to talk about this specific topic at work. It may be unprofessional. It may be too sensitive for you. You have to determine, what are those boundaries. I have a 3-part video series that's older that I did on Instagram, but it's here on my YouTube channel, and it states specifically, how do you set boundaries? So it's a great video to watch to help you start setting those boundaries. Now, let me take a look at the chat before I go into the second strategy for you all today. Raven Maynard says, you are right. Raven Maynard says, I love your videos so much. Well, thank you, Raven. I appreciate you. Feel free to subscribe and feel free to interact with me. I'm very engaged with my audience. So if there's a video topic that you want to learn more about, especially as it relates to communication and being able to elevate yourself as a woman in leadership, then feel free to let me know. I will do a video just for you and give you a shout out on the video also. All right, let's see. So Jude B says, I'm confused because I'm always a leader and I have ADHD and it's hard to focus. Okay, well, Jude, first, appreciate you bringing that up and really, really appreciate you mentioning that. And so sometimes as a leader, what happens, and then we'll go into the strategy in just a second. So sometimes what happens as a leader, especially if you do have ADHD, is it is hard to focus. So what I tell my clients that have similar type of conditions of ADHD, and even though I'm a doctor, this is not medical advice, let me give that disclaimer, is to figure out what works for you. Now, if there's a topic or if there's a project you're working on and you know you struggle with focusing in on it, then determine how much time do you think that you can actually focus on this project. Maybe it's 10 minutes. Maybe it's 15 minutes. Maybe it's 30. Maybe it's an hour. I don't know that answer, but Jude, I know that you do. So you can determine how much time can you give to a project as a leader. And I would tell you, from an executive coaching standpoint, when you are able to develop that awareness in terms of how much attention you are able to devote to something for a specified amount of time, then this will help you to try to work backwards and help you to become more focused as a leader. So if you know that if you're having a conversation with an employee, with someone that you're working with, because you're a leader, and I'm glad that you're here, this is exactly the channel for leaders for sure, then you may say, okay, I know that I can listen to this person talk for 5 minutes. That's it. After I'm finished with 5 minutes, I have to my mind is going to start going somewhere else. Well, that's fine. Then structure your conversation to last for 5 minutes. You may want to let that individual know, I have about 5 minutes to speak to you. Let me see how I can support you. How can I help you on your journey, and etc. So use your own internal boundaries, Jude, to help you be able to determine how you can manage projects, people, conversations as a leader. If you use this reverse engineering technique, I do this with my clients all the time. Even if you have ADHD, as you mentioned, you still know how much time you have to focus. You know yourself better than anyone else, and you know how much time it's going to take for you to actually focus on a task and how much time is going to be way too much for you. So give that a try and let me know how that works out for you as you are going through that process. Okay, so Raven Maynard says, Jude B, love your name. Okay, all right, some interaction between the two of you. Frank Childress, hello Frank, how you doing today? Welcome, glad you are here and present. Let me know where you're joining from today. And so Jude B and Raven are communicating. Okay, awesome. Very good. Jude B said thank you so much because Raven likes Jude B's name. Well, very nice. All right, awesome. So very good. So let's see what else is going on. We're having a couple of conversations there. Okay, awesome. So also what I wanted to mention to you as well in terms of the second strategy is the following. So we talked about you have to know your boundaries. The second strategy, and there's a lot more I can share with you. If you want to know more, put it in the comments below or put it in the comments if you're watching the replay, is to know that you have to set your boundaries. And so the way, now we know what your boundaries are, how you set your boundaries is the following. You have to be consistent. And thank you so much for the heart emojis. I appreciate them. You have to be really consistent with your boundaries. So for example, if you have to leave at a certain time because you have other responsibilities or other tasks or other things you have to take care of, you have to be consistent with that time. Whatever boundary it is that you set, right? You were set, and I do this in my video. I make a little box and say, this is your boundary. Whatever boundary you have to be consistent with it. It is this, imagine this scenario. Imagine this. Let's say you're walking outside and you're on a beach. You came to visit the Sunshine State of Florida. You're on the beach somewhere. Or Texas. Texas has a beach too. And you are walking at the sea, you're out on the beach, and you draw a line in the sand when you're on the beach. That line indicates a boundary that you have. Now, that boundary will stay there for at least a little while. However, if you start to move around and maybe kick up the sand a bit, this boundary will start to disappear. Use this scenario when you're trying to set up your boundaries, because if you're not consistent with how you are setting up your boundaries or establishing them, then this is when your boundaries will start to go away and people will not recognize them and appreciate them. I've seen this happen many times. So, example, if you say you have to leave at a certain time, I have to leave at 5 o'clock or I have to leave at 6 o'clock, and you consistently leave a little bit after 6 o'clock or a little after 6:30, then you are showing them that your time is not valuable to you. And you, even though you mentioned you have a boundary, you're just saying, that boundary is not important. So you don't want to do that. When you are at a place where you're setting boundaries as a leader, you have to be consistent with them. The same process goes with your executive presence. Now, if you do not know what executive presence means, this is your ability, and this is my very humble opinion and my definition of it. There's a lot of definitions of it that are about this long, but my definition is simple. Executive presence is your ability to inspire and influence other people. So if you want to develop your executive presence, you have to be consistent with that also. Setting boundaries is just as important. You have to have that consistency as well. So let me see what's going on in the chat. Raven Maynard says, I love the beach. I have never been to a beach. Well, there's a lot of different beaches. I know in Indiana, there's not beaches there. There's not beaches in Indiana, but definitely if you travel a bit more further south or even to Indiana is right in the center. So you'd have to either go either to the east, to the west, or to the south. There's no beaches going up north, but definitely beaches are fun to go to. Jude B says, hey ma'am, I also have dyslexia. Can you tell me about that? Sure. So you're a leader, and if you have dyslexia, then there's a lot of strategies, and I guess I would want to know what's helped you in the past with this dyslexia. The thing with it is sometimes it just makes it very difficult because you may be writing something and you're putting it in a different position or it's not in the right way. The best suggestion I can give to you, especially as a leader, and I actually do this myself, I specifically will try to review things multiple times. So I talked about this in a video. If you want to take a look at it, it is how to write like an executive. And in this video, I share with you my strategy that I use as a C-suite executive and as a director for over 20 years to communicate not only in the verbal format as an executive and as a public speaker, but also how you communicate in the written format also. And what I used to do, and you may want to think about possibly doing this also, Jude, is when you are preparing something or you're writing something out, try to review it at least 3 times. Now, you may say, I don't have time for that. If it's something that is very, very important, then you want to make sure you make that time so that you have the ability to review it. I personally did this as a C-suite executive, but I literally would read my emails that I would send out at least 3 times before I click send. I'm checking the emails to see, 1, is it appropriate? Did I say everything I need to say? Excuse me. 2, are there any grammatical errors? Are there any mistakes? 3, and is there anything I need to modify in terms of my tone, the words I'm choosing, and etc. So just to let you know, I would read over something a couple of times if you are managing with dyslexia. So let's see what else is going on in the chat. So Jude B and Raven are speaking. Raven's okay. Jude B said, "I will just send hearts if I want you to look at the comments." Okay, awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. There's a couple comments coming through. So Raven Maynard says, "I have to go. Bye. See you. I guess see you soon." Bye, Raven. Glad you stopped by today. Appreciate you being here and being present. And I hope you subscribe. This is always great. So I want to know from you, from those of you who are here present, what are some aspects of struggling or that you are struggling with specifically as it relates to setting boundaries? Let me know in the comments below. I'm here for a little bit more and I want to be able to support you in any way that I can. Jude B, I appreciate you so much for your interaction today and asking questions and talking about Texas. I usually talk about different topics depending on what comes up. We've talked about dropping off kids at bus stops. We've talked about Bitcoin. We've talked about bosses taking ideas. We sometimes will have a focused topic that we're talking about, specifically boundaries in this case, but then we just go into something else, just like we talked about Texas. It's hot. My car audio system said I can't do it anymore. It's too hot in the state of Texas. So appreciate you bringing those up. Those are always fun interactions that we have as it relates to streaming on YouTube. Okay, Jude B says my handwriting. Okay, so if you're trying, I'm assuming that you're trying to work on your handwriting, Jude B. Let me know, just clarify. I'll go into it based on if that's what you're doing. So if you're trying to make your, yes, okay, so Jude B says pretty much how to improve your handwriting. I'm probably the worst person to answer this. And this is why, because I am a doctor and I unfortunately have doctor handwriting at this point because I've been a doctor for a long time. But if you're trying to improve your handwriting, what I would say is try to write in print as best as you can. Sometimes when we start writing, and especially if you are a leader, you're just trying to write things quickly, right? You're just trying to scribble it real quick and that's it. But sometimes people can't read what you're saying. So what you want to do is write in print as much as you can. Try not to do cursive too much unless your cursive is like flawless and people can read the A and the I's that have a dot on them and T's and etc. But you want to try to use print. I would try to write in print as best as you can and just be purposeful with it. And think of it in this way. I do this too. If somebody was reading this letter or this email or this statement or this document I'm filling out, then would they understand what I read, what I wrote actually? Would they understand it? And if you think they will, then you probably did pretty good with your handwriting. If you feel like they may not understand it, then you might want to slow down. So I would say, one, slow down, slow down in terms of how you're writing. And then also make sure you're writing in print. Print is a great way for you to be able to write and improve your handwriting, because you have to slow down with print. Cursive, you can write pretty quickly, right? But slow down on print in terms of how you're writing. That will help you to be able to place yourself in a situation to improve your handwriting. Because if you are a leader, you want to make sure that not only people are listening to what you are saying in terms of how you are communicating and communicating at a higher level, but that they also are being able to read it in a written format as well. That is how you start to develop yourself as a leader and as an executive. Now, I want to know if you all have any other questions as it relates to setting boundaries. On my channel, I go live Tuesday through Friday. And so I'm here to really support you as leaders. Our world needs leaders just like you today. And I'm here to really help you elevate. If you are at a point in your career where you need some support as a woman in leadership, feel free to look in the description below for a strategy session. Feel free to reach out to me. Let's talk about where you are or where you want to be as a leader so that we can help you transition to that next level in your career. Now, there's a lot of things going on my channel right now, a lot of things going on in my business. I talked about this briefly in my previous video, but I did want to mention to you all that there's some graphics I'm going to show here pretty soon in terms of pictures and icons for my business, specifically logo, that I want to get your feedback on and let me know what you all think about it. If you want to learn how to manage difficult situations in real time, then I'm going to do something just for you all on my YouTube channel. There are situations, there have been times where the conversations on my chats have not been friendly, or they have been, rude, disrespectful, offensive, etc. And so I thought to myself, because this actually happened to me yesterday, again, in terms of the video that talks about annoyed as a leader, do this. And this happens often. And so not often, a lot, but enough to where I have to talk about it. And so the best thing I thought about it, and I thought about this last night after this happened, was how can I help my audience to truly learn how to manage themselves as executives in real time. And what I'm going to do is, whenever I have those offensive comments or those very unappreciated remarks made, I'm going to make sure that I break them out of the video and post them as a short and post them on my communities page so that you all can take a look at it. Because I'm not the type of leader, I'm not the type of influencer that is here just to talk to you and just tell you strategies and just tell you strategies. I focus on real strategies and real things that actually happen in real life. And oftentimes things that happen is, you hear a lot about leadership models, you hear a lot about people in terms of definitions for specific leadership ideas and etc. And sometimes it's so academic in nature that there's no real depth that they have as it relates to this specific topic. And I've been through those friendly situations and very contentious situations, and I want to make sure that you all understand how to manage those specific issues. And so if you watch some of my lives, I'll break those out for you. You will be able to see in real time when I have those contentious conversations that come up, or someone making not nice comments to me live, then you can see how I handle it as an executive. Ultimately, you have to address the comment. You don't necessarily have to say it out loud if it's offensive, because I've not done that. But you have to have the conversation. You have to shut it down. And I want you all to learn from me in real time when this actually happens, because this happens often. So I want to be able to provide that with you all. And if there's anything you need some support with, let me know. There's another project I mentioned in my earlier video that I want to mention really quickly before I finish up. If you have any leaders any individuals that you are inspired by or that motivate you, let me know in the comments below who they are. Or let me know if you're watching the replay. Why? Because what I'm going to do, and this is part of a project I've done, I'm starting to work on, is if you have a leader that you're inspired by and you're motivated by, I'm going to analyze from my 20 years of being a public speaker and being a distinguished Toastmaster with Toastmasters International. I'm going to actually help you. I'm going to help you learn some of those strategies, techniques that these individuals are doing so that you can start doing them in your everyday conversations to help elevate your communication skills as a leader. So let me know who your leaders are. Who are they? Even if you're in another country, as long as there's some videos online I can watch about them, then I will give you my honest guidance in terms of these are some strategies you can do to be that person that elevates yourself as a leader. So let me look at the chat. There's a couple things going on right now. So Jude and Raven are having a conversation. Okay, Jude says, can we talk about your favorite food, your favorite color, and all that? Okay, sure. So no problem. These are things to ask you about, just generally speaking, as it relates to me as a person. So we've talked about our instruction, how to set boundaries. If you're just joining, Raya, I don't know if I said it correctly. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Welcome. Glad you're here today. So yes, I know you're asking, am I a teacher? And Raven said, no, she's a doctor. Yes, thank you, Raven. I appreciate that. So that is correct. And in terms of, let's see, favorite food of mine as a person, favorite food would be, let's see, Japanese food, and I would say Southern food specifically. Those would be probably my favorite foods. I know, and I like Mexican food also. So those are my favorite foods. Next would be your favorite color is blue. If you look at my logo on my website, on my business page, on my Instagram, which is at Excite Excellence, on my LinkedIn, which is Dr. Jacinta Lamentai, blue is my favorite color. Now, there's different variations of blue, but blue is my overall favorite color. And let's see, what else? Favorite food, favorite color, and Jude B. Okay, let's see what's going on. Raven says same, long E's. Okay, great. Well, that's fantastic. Jude B says mine is seafood. I love seafood. Okay. Raven Maynard says mine is Chinese. So Raven Maynard likes Chinese food. Jude likes seafood. Very good. Jude B says, because I'm really close to Louisiana. Yes, so Louisiana is a second home for me, believe it or not, because I went to graduate school at Tulane University to receive my Master of Science in Public Health. And the time that I went there, I was finishing up, and so I was impacted by Hurricane Katrina, and I had to go back after Katrina. So Louisiana, New Orleans specifically, is a very, very special place to me. It always will be a special place because I just went through so much, losing a lot of things in Katrina, and of course, dealing with the aftermath after that. There's a long live I could talk to you about for a really long time. But Louisiana is a dear place to me. It really is. It's a big transition I had in my life, regardless of dealing with Katrina at the time, but also just professionally at the time. So appreciate you mentioning that. And yes, Texas is very close to Louisiana. All right, Raven Maynard says she loves seafood too. Jude's favorite color is pink. So what favorite colors are you all have? So we have pink or black, Jude says. Raven Maynard's favorite color is pink also. Okay, fantastic. Well, we are getting to know each other, colors, foods, and etc. And so this is what my channel is about. I'm here to provide you with over 20 years worth of experience as a C-suite executive, manager, director, public speaker, and executive coach. But I'm here to engage with you all also, for us to get to know each other and engage with each other and just continue to grow our channel. So if you have any individuals in your circle that are leaders that are really trying to level up their skill set and really be that exceptional leader, then this is something that you absolutely want to be able to do, because this is what we talk about on my channel in terms of how to elevate yourself as a leader. So I do need to go because this is my second live today, but I appreciate you all so much for being here today. If you like this content, feel free to subscribe to the channel. This is where you will elevate yourself as a leader, and I will help you to stand out amongst everybody else, whether you are doing an interview, whether you are starting a leadership role, whether you are trying to prepare your resume. Lean on my over 20 years of experience as a C-suite executive and as a director and a manager to go to that next level. I've been in those very friendly conversations, and I've been in very contentious conversations. I've had the opportunity to be featured on magazine cover for Howard University Magazine. I've been a distinguished Toastmaster, and only about 1% of their 358,000 members accomplished this public speaking award. I've been on the news, and I've also had the opportunity to spend some time with congressional leaders, which is why I communicate at a higher level than my peers. And I'm sharing you this information as well. All right, so I am going to, okay. Keelan, hello, welcome. Keelan is back. Keelan was with me earlier today. Well, good to see you again, Keelan. And I hope I said your name correctly this time. I think I did, hopefully. Well, I hope y'all have a fantastic day. I will see you all hopefully tomorrow. Couple videos that will help you is the How to Set Your Boundaries series that I mentioned earlier. It's a 3-part series. This is not a live. This is a pre-recorded series that may help you. But if you spend any time on my live channel, you're going to learn a lot of information as it relates specifically how you can go to that next level in your career. Spend some time on my lives, watch a couple videos. It will help you so much to go to that next level in your career. So I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.